When Caleb Johnson stormed his way into living rooms across the United States during the 13th season of American Idol, he did more than just win a title, he shattered expectations. His gritty vocals, rock star spirit, and stage presence that felt like a resurrection of vintage rock energy all contributed to the impression that success was unavoidable under his direction. Nevertheless, the thing that is true about tales such as his is that victory is never the end. It's just the beginning of things. Caleb Johnson, who is now 33 years old, is in a position that the majority of people who have won reality shows in the past can only dream of being in. He is free, he has forged his own way, and he is strongly attached to the music that he wants to make. However, in order to get there, he needed to have guts, control, and reinvent himself. When it comes to fame, this is not a narrative about fading away. This is a tale about reclaiming the spotlight on your own terms and reclaiming your reputation. Idol champion to independent artist, what's changed? The triumph that Caleb achieved in season 13 catapulted him into the spotlight, garnering him global recognition, recording contracts, and televised performances. During a period when pop and country singers were the most popular on the American Idol stage, he was the rock singer who carried the torch. Not only did he triumph, but he also embodied an entire category. His debut album, titled Testify, was released few months after he won the competition. His speech was strong and bold, and it was in his voice. Nonetheless, it was not totally his spirit. Caleb discovered, much like many other victories on American Idol before him, that major label deals came with significant constraints. It was a system that was designed for efficiency rather than expression, and it left him with creative limits, tight production timetables, and executives who chose singles for him. Caleb Johnson, on the other hand, has always been more explosive than formulaic, and before long, the business sector also became aware of it. The crash that freed him from his captivity. The fact that American Idol was cancelled by powerhouse occurred a few years after Caleb's victory. They disappeared without a trace. The management team was disbanded. The arrangement with the label fell through. As far as some artists are concerned, that would be a catastrophe. In Caleb's mind, it was like starting over. No more ties, not any more expectations from the company. That he would no longer be molded into something that he was not. When he eventually took charge of the situation, what could have been a setback turned out to be a blessing. Not only did he not vanish, he took no time to slow down. He became quite loud. Having its origins in the southern region, a new era has begun. Caleb released Born from Southern Ground in 2019, but this time around, everything was different from what it had been before. He published it on his own record label, which was called Big Johnson Records. A declaration was made through the album, which was more than merely a musical project. It was him who was responsible for every chord, every phrase, and every production choice. Neither a committee nor a marketing staff was responsible for designing it. It had a rock sound, was unfiltered, potent, and intensely personal. This was independence with a beating heart. The production of the album required more than just ability. It required self-sacrifice, financial support, faith, and countless hours of uninterrupted labor. On the other hand, the reward was not charts or prizes, rather, it was ownership. It was something that he had constructed with his own hands. In and of itself, that was the triumph. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra, a powerful new stage for the orchestra. By the year 2018, Caleb has already demonstrated his ability to perform as a solo artist. On the other hand, he was prepared to undergo another evolution. In the realm of rock performance, that chance presented itself in the form of a legendary band known as the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Given that his voice was able to effortlessly cut through the wall-shaking instrumentation, touring with TSO seemed a perfect fit for him. All of the things that made him stand out on American Idol were accentuated by the production, including the theatrical approach, the magnitude of the show, and the combination of hard rock and classical music. It wasn't only that he filled a void. He issued the command. Even now, he continues to perform with TSO, and he is even going to come back for subsequent tours because of it. Many of his followers describe the experience of witnessing him perform live in that setting as being comparable to watching a phoenix in flight. He is imposing, majestic, and unabashedly loud. A soul from the South while having a rock heart. What makes Caleb Johnson stand the test of time is his genuineness, which transcends stages and labels. He did not follow the latest fashion trends. He did not switch to music better suited for radio. He leaned into the very thing that set him apart from others, the intensity of classic rock combined with the grit of Southern music. Over the course of his childhood, he spent a lot of time searching through recordings, including those by Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, and Meat Loaf. Today, he is one of the few modern rock vocalists who can carry that lineage in his throat. He has a voice that is not only loud but also lived in. Grittiness, soul, and experience are all carried by it. The rock community has never been able to let go of Caleb Johnson because of this. His membership is in it. It was not because of a television show, but rather because of the loudness. Meat Loaf, the artist who inspired him, and a tribute that is worthy of a legend. For a very long time, before he ever stood beneath the lights of an arena, Caleb was a young boy looking at the cover of a legendary album called Bat Out of Hell. There are flames, the motorcycles, controversy, a feeling. Not only did Meat Loaf perform songs, but he also told stories during his performances. Caleb never outgrown that sensation in his life. Therefore, when he later assisted in the creation of a comprehensive Meat Loaf homage experience, it was not marketing. Rather, it was a gesture of affection. Middletown, New York was the location of the live performance of Celebrating Meat Loaf, which took place in October of 2024. Despite the fact that many came for the nostalgia, they stayed because Caleb honored the song with an incredible amount of reverence and energy. They were not singing karaoke. Not at all was this an imitation. An uprising took place. An alliance with Meat Loaf's own band would result from that tribute, which would lead to something more significant. A new reignites an old classic. It's not a footnote from an old idol, not a reality show winner that has been forgotten. On the other hand, an artist who is fearless, working, and evolving. A rock frontman who wasn't satisfied with being defined by television. Rather, he defined himself. What the meaning of his trip is. In the world of contemporary entertainment, Caleb Johnson is a rare example of an artist who resists the temptation to compromise their authenticity in favor of an easier life. If an artist does not participate in the game, the doors to the business may open with a reality TV title, but they will close just as quickly at the same time. Instead of simply leaving, Caleb constructed a new door for himself. In his career, he has demonstrated that the most audacious moments do not necessarily originate from major platforms. There are instances when they originate from a rock tour in the winter, from a tribute performance in New York, or from an independent studio in the South, or from a child who is deeply devoted to the film Bat Out of Hell. Although the world may not talk about the winners of American Idol 10 years later, they do talk about musicians who continue to perform, who continue to develop, and who continue to commemorate the music that inspired them to dream in the first place with their music. This is Caleb Johnson, by the way, continuing to sing, continuing to shout, continuing to go with rock. He continued to be consumed by his own fire. At this moment, where is Caleb Johnson? True musicians are the ones who belong on stage, in the studio, uninhibited and fearless. He is exactly where they should be. Not as a former reality star, but as a genuine rock singer with fire in his lungs and complete ownership of his craft. He is very much alive in the world of music, even though he may not be in the spotlight of the mainstream every day. If you are a fan of music that has the ability to shake walls and hearts, then you should know that Caleb Johnson has never left. Right now, he is at home.